as you're probably all aware, Wuthering Waves has been on a rather demonic marketing run recently because they just decided to go ahead and drop one of the most absurd drip marketing teasers I think the entire gacha space has kind of like ever seen. We remember this little 1 minute 40-second cinematic over here where they basically just showed off, well, a good part of the Mangzhou cast in all of their amazing glory. Yeah, these designs over here, they've really taken, you know, Wuthering Waves right after the collab and sort of taken it to the next level for a lot of individuals. I know there are a lot of designs people are looking forward to. You got like, you got her, then you also got like her. Yeah, that's probably all I need to show. But there's also been more that the devs decided to reveal, but not actually through the official Wuthering Waves page. We've actually got Katsuhiro Harada. I think I pronounced that shit correctly. Yeah, no, I sounded mad Japanese there. Yeah, I'm never doing that shit again. Yeah, we got Katsuhiro over here. Essentially, he's a guy that used to be employed by Bandai Namco. You might know him as one of the directors of Tekken from back in the day. He used to do that. He doesn't really do that anymore, but he's got his own Wikipedia page actually linked in his Twitter profile, so he's kind of like a big name. And he's actually going ahead partnering with WUWA JP Official. And at 2:45 a.m. last night, which is really fucking late for some reason. I don't even know why they would decide to release it at this time. This was demonic. Well, they showed everything off. So why don't we go ahead and take a bit of a look over here to see what this gameplay is looking like for these two playable characters, because I guess that they were going to be the ones that were first up in version 3.5, and it looks like, well, from what we're seeing over here, they are. So let's check out those kits and, of course, make our commentary. Okay, first things first, we gotta talk about the glow up over here for Yangyang, right? Definitely, I actually logged into the game just so I could, like, do some of these side-by-side comparisons over here and actually show you what, like, her actual model's looking like. So, her model doesn't look bad, but as you can see, it's, like, some of the most, like, plain vanilla shit we've probably ever seen in the history of, like, a gacha before. Very, like, plain sort of, like, colors, right? She almost looks like a Power Ranger. That's, like, I think that's the best way I'd describe her. And as you can see from, like, here, yeah, it's just the design is pretty much, I mean, what can I say? It just looks better in pretty much every single way. It does actually retain some of, like, the old sort of, like, you know, characteristics, especially, like, over here, like, in, like, the chest area. But, yeah, a lot of the other stuff is really looking a lot, I mean, it's glowed up. What can we say? It's literally glowing, too. Really like the, they managed to make the sort of like, you know, the Asian-inspired design. It somehow doesn't look the exact same as everything else that's in the game, too. HSR can never. Okay, so first things that I'll say over here is that she just looks like a Where Winds Meet character. Yeah, they're definitely going full on into, and I mean, if you just like taken a look at Wuxia style sword Nancy and shit like that before, yeah, no, that's literally what she's doing. So, yeah, there's just a lot of blue, and there's also, it almost looks like fire as well. This has to be one of the most visually insane looking, like, just VFX I think we've ever seen in a kit before. I still don't know what attribute she's supposed to be. But yeah, that's one of the most insane basic attack animations I think we've ever seen. Is that her basic, though? It seems like it would be like a Forte enhanced basic or something like that. That just looks ridiculous as a regular attack chain. And I will say this as well. Voice acting job seems a lot better. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the same VA that we had for Yangyang since day 0 or day 1, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it sounds, yeah, she sounds very good. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, she kind of just looks like Galbraina, but looks like she summons like a phoenix or something. Is that like a bird? I don't really know. Yeah, it looks like a bunch of birds that like turns into like that most people would call that a bird. But yeah, it looks like she got a big nuke as well. So one of the more like very visually insane looking basic attack animations, and like whatever she's got over here, looks like she's summoning like a nuke, bro. That's pretty cool. That's pretty legit. I think most people are gonna like that. And I will say she looks like a DPS. Yeah, my money is on her being a DPS, and this nuke's probably gonna do like what, like 600, 7, 8, 1k, 1 million damage. Very like crane bird, like it's just the Asian Chinese aesthetic over here. You can probably just tell they're going down to 11 with this one. If you thought Chu Yan was a lot, with like his whole like bamboo and shit like that, and like the wolves and like the music, this might be comparable. And now we got her, Suisui. And most people are saying, I think most people can agree, this looks like Yangyang's sister because they got the tassel mark in the same exact spot. But for some reason, she just looks like, I get the vibe that she's lazy. You know what I mean? Like her eyes look lazy. That's the vibe that I get from her. It's like I feel like she doesn't do a lot. Yeah, I feel like she's the lazy twin. Why do you think we haven't seen her in the story yet while Yangyang is out there like doing stuff in Jinzhou, being a midnight ranger? Bro, I bet like she just like lounges in like an office and doesn't do anything. 1,000,000%. That's the vibe I get. Yeah, she's the rich one.
Rippling splendor awakens. Only fairies. Beyond lush haze, the rainflow marches.
I don't know what weapon type she's supposed to be. All I know is, yeah, she'd be dancing and using those fans like crazy. And I guess that's her making a field of some kind.
Beyond lush haze,
so,
the rainflow marches.
Yeah, this is actually the vibe I get from this unit. She looks like Jeja, but like way more talented. Like visually, she just looks like a Jeja that like actually knows what she's doing. And this is the vibe that I get. I actually think she might be Glacio based off of that. Glacio in this game, if you know what Glacio is, guys, they're all about making shit. They're all about constructing things. Jeja makes cranes, right, and paintings and shit like that. Hiyuki makes like the ice sculptures. Carlotta makes guns. And I guess she makes like a fucking, what is this? Like a fucking 3D topographical map? Basically, if a unit like constructs shit like this, they're pretty much always like fucking Glacio. So yeah, that's the vibe that I'm getting over here, is that this is just like Jeja's Supermax. But she does naturally look extremely supportive based off the fact that, well, she's creating like a persisting like area effect over here. This is clearly like not a fucking DPS character. Yeah, I imagine that this is like some sort of like Syntony Field, a Shorekeeper Stella Realm, something like that. It looks very buff oriented to me. It looks very like, I mean, I don't really know what else to say. Yeah, you're definitely going to be probably allowing the rest of your teammates to do a lot of damage. So that's, I think, what she's looking like on the kid side. Now I kind of want to see what her rotation's looking like again. Let's check this out real fast.
Rippling splendor awakens.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. After seeing that, this looks way too much like Jeja's shit, like her paint strokes and stuff like that. I'm sorry, but I know some people are saying Spectro. It's just I get the Spectro vibes, right? Because she like glows yellow and stuff.
Awakens.
But there's too many other colors, I think, for it to be just Spectro. Way too many other colors.
Fairies.
And yeah, I mean, it's just, who else does shit like that in her kit? Who else does stuff like that in their kit? I think my money's on Glacio. But Yangyang, on the other hand, I'm gonna be honest. This looks like a mix of like Galbraina. This looks like a if you told me that this is like a fusion character or an arrow character, I couldn't deny you, because this looks exactly like Galbraina's colors. However, there's birds and shit and it's blue, so that could easily be arrow. They managed to make this unit probably the most nondescript one like ever, and I'm pretty sure it's just going to be a surprise to everybody once we get the full details surrounding her. But her, on the other hand, yeah, no, looks like, I'm gonna be honest, it literally looks like Glacio to me. Yeah, overall, the kits are looking pretty solid. I think visually, I don't think anyone has anything to complain about. And I think compared to some of the prior releases that we've had, just looking at the rest of the roster, I think they definitely add enough of like a unique flair to the game, and they're a complete, honestly, like bit of like a separation compared to some of like the kit designs that we've had before. I think the only one that comes like sort of like close thematically is like Hiyuki's, but that's just because like she is very sort of like traditional sort of like Japanese art style, right? We're kind of like coming right from like super like high-tech sort of like outfits and stuff and designs, while these ones on the other hand look 100% fantasy. So, to me, I think it's going to be really interesting how, like, the setting sort of, like, moves forward. And I think this is the biggest part. What kind of, like, mechanics we're going to be seeing in the kits moving forward? Are we going to have more, like, tune break? Are we going to have any more, like, tune strain, tune rupture? Or are we, like, going away from that completely and we only had, you know, like, a couple of characters that were into that sort of, like, dynamic in Lahai Roi? So, to me, it looks like we're actually going back to, like, the fucking 1.0 roots. This, to me, looks like a Jeja kit. Jeja, like, level kit that got, like, you know, that's obviously, like, a lot better, but thematically, it's very similar. And that's the sort of vibe that I'm getting over here. So, very excited to see what the future releases are going to be looking like. Are we going to get a mix of, like, tech as well as fantasy? I'm thinking we're going to get the tech fantasy mix because of this. The ending sort of, like, cinematic sort of sequence over here look like that. You can see the mechanical bird, which I think is like the biggest sign for some of the future characters. Clearly, it's a tech-inspired region, but the kits we've gotten so far look very, obviously, fantasy-like.
Where it lies, one may wonder.
But then you watch this animation, look at this.
It shall reveal itself to the one fated visitor.
That's clearly like some circuitry and some high-tech wizardry and shit like that. But we're not necessarily getting it in the kits over here. You guys kind of like understand what I'm saying, right? So I feel like this roster of units, the theme of these units, it's going to be a lot more varied than you might have like initially thought. I think that this reveal over here might be, you know, you can almost just like take a look at the background as well, right? This looks more like Wu Ling than it does like a fucking Li Wei. I think that's the best way to describe it. Looks more like Wu Ling from Enfield than Li Wei from Genshin. But these kits kind of look more like Li Wei. And I think that's the most like rudimentary baseline way I can describe it. If you're not that excited for these ones, I guess wait for the others. And if you are excited for these ones, well, keep in mind that the theme is going to be split out across some of the rest of the releases. Yeah, I think Kuro's doing a great job so far. I feel like we've needed a bit of a break from like the whole sci-fi first aesthetic, considering we just got done with like the Gundam, the Star Torch region, and all of that. And I think the approach that they've done with these kits, making them look like the most, let's just be honest here, wuxia shit ever. I just want to look at this. This is like a, bro, she does like a judgment cut with birds. That's kind of cool, right? Like it's like a judgment cut with pigeons. That's pretty sick once you think about it. Overall, the gameplay reveal to me is looking very, very, very solid. And honestly, what I'm mostly excited about isn't actually the kits. It's like the geographic preview. Seeing what the region looks like, seeing what's inside of here. Now that I've taken a look at all the kits. So yeah, the live stream for this patch is going to be a bit of a banger. I think it has potential to exceed the hype of Septimont. And I think 3.5, based off of everything we've seen, right? Especially this situation over here, right? 3.5 onward. Let's be honest, guys. This might be one of the most popular patches of WUWA history. Better make sure she's in the story. Let me know what you all thought about this one. Peace out.